Today I have with me Surya Prakash Mohapatra. Surya has been setting up an online group called the Learning and Development Group on Facebook and on LinkedIn and Twitter. This is one of the largest online groups in the world with over 25,000 members across these three platforms. Surya, welcome to the series called Leadership in Real Life, and I thank you very much.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you for this opportunity. Well, Ravi, I think being an L&D practitioner myself, I always felt the need to do something in this space which will have an impact on the fraternity. You know, you see the millennials, the Gen Y, the Gen G coming in, multiple generations working together. The workforce has become virtual and global. People are spread across the globe. The workforce is always connected. Employees, people are working on the go. They're working from home. They're working from the offices. What we are also seeing is people need to upskill and upgrade themselves all the time. About 30 to 40% of the employees have already become obsolete or are going to become outdated in terms of the skill set. So what is changing in the industry and then its impact on the workforce? And I believe L&D plays a very important role. And what was bothering me was while this rapid changes are happening, L&D practitioners were not really upgrading their skill set. So I really felt the need to bring them together using social learning as a platform, social media as a platform, leveraging community of practice as a tool. What you see today is a revolution that has happened. I think this has been a phenomenal journey. I started with, as I said, with about 12 odd people, and it was a big struggle for me to bring the strength of this group from 12 people to 1,000 people. But from 1,000 people, how it became 10,000 members, I had no idea. I think it's the power of social media, power of technology, and power of communities. I think the blend of all of this probably has made this possible. And I believe that when you start something good, and then people see value in what you're doing, and then you use technology and then social media as platforms, I think the results can be exponential. I had to do a lot of influencing. I started introducing weekly and fortnightly features which basically had themes, and there were discussions around those themes. And initially people were reluctant to participate. They were saying there are so many groups in social media, there are so many platforms, there are so many communities, and this is one more. So I was the only one who was going there, who was posting there, who was sharing something, trying to create interest. And then for days together, there was nobody else coming in and participating. One thing I did is I never gave up. I just continued with my sharing, continued with the same passion, because I was really inspired by the vision that I had in mind. So I decided, I know there'll be challenges, there'll be hurdles, there'll be obstacles, but I continued sharing. And then some people saw that there is a mad guy out there, sharing something every day. We must just, be with him and then kind of try to help him with this cause. And then people slowly started participating, and then the numbers started increasing. But I had to really reach out to people individually and then request them to be a member of this group. As the participation started picking up from, I think initially, which was more of quantity that I was trying to focus on, trying to bring people there, slowly the focus shifted to quality of conversations, quality of discussions. That created more value, that brought in more people into it, more seasoned and experienced professionals, and that again attracted more people. So it had a cascading effect, and that's how we started growing. Yes, I think resilience is absolutely essential, and then when you're trying to, when you have a vision, and then you are trying to kind of rally people behind your vision, resilience is all that you need. Sometimes you start doubting your vision yourself, and then you believe, are you on the right path? But if you're convinced about it, and if you have the commitment to the cause, and then if you're resilient, then I think it's definitely going to bear fruits at the end of it. Being able to play the role of a catalyst. On top of it, humility. I think that's a virtue, that's a value. I think the trick lies in bringing them together and then playing the role of the catalyst, elevating others. Well, I think that's again another learning. I think I realized continuity is important, consistency is important. That will bring people back to the platform. So I started Friday poll, where I would have a poll question, a proposition which is debatable, where people can debate on either side, and that made it interesting. And then when you go there and post something, and then somebody goes there and posts something against what you have said, and then you want to go back and then write something, you again want to come back and then see what the other person has replied. So that's how the stickiness developed. And I realized that's how some of this social media platforms work, and that's how communities can be engaged. I think it's important for a lead community champion to make the community successful. It's important for him or her to make it interesting, alive, active. I think these are three things. I realized fairly quickly that these three things are essential. So I try to keep it alive, try to keep it active, and try to keep it interesting. Whenever a situation like that was there, and then I tried to step in, not by trying to play the role of a mediator, but I think every time a situation like that was happening, I was connecting with the people offline, rather than trying to mediate, online on the platform itself. I think that's how I was able to build trust. You can't just take it for granted that you have built trust, and then no matter whatever happens, you will be able to retain that trust that people have in you. So it's very important that you maintain that trust, and then you kind of adhere to the ethical standards. You don't try to take undue advantage of the platform or the following that you've created and things like that. And then not only through your talks, but also through actions. So walking the talk is very important, and that's something, as you rightly said, one has to keep doing all the time. Ravi, if I have to start all over again, I think over the last 3 years, what I've realized is, in a platform like this, there's a need to reinvent all the time. So the need to kind of reinvent and then keep doing something different is something that I would like to introduce right from the beginning. What I would also probably do differently is I would try and see how I can do more to leverage the expertise of the humongous amount of talent which is sitting within the community. HR Tech European Congress in Amsterdam. They asked me to talk about communities of practice. They said, you have set up a community yourself, such a large community. Why don't you come and talk to our HR practitioners? How can they implement this in their organizations and get the benefit out of this? So that was the theme on which I spoke. People have got to know about me, and then they've started inviting me. And I personally believe it is part of my learning strategy as well. Whenever you go and deliver a lecture, you need to do a lot of preparation before going there and delivering a lecture.
Correct.
And then you're in the midst of so many experts in the field, and then just being with them and listening to them is a huge amount of huge learning opportunity. When we started the online community, and then I realized it's working very fine. I think there are discussions happening virtually. We have already started webinars, and there are Twitter chats, a lot of things happening online. But human beings always have an urge to connect at a personal level, and the digital space cannot bridge that gap. Technology can only, help it to some extent, but beyond a point, it cannot. And I felt that need when I started speaking to these community members across the globe. I think everywhere I realized that's what people really need, and people are asking for it. And so I decided that I create a forum, I create a platform which can be called local chapters, where we can set up the chapters in different cities, create a forum, an opportunity for people in a particular location to come together, and then kind of come together, learn, share, network, bond with each other. Any community, this learning and development community is a knowledge network, but anytime we are talking about a community, there's a social aspect which we cannot ignore. So people need to come together and kind of bond with each other. The important thing, Ravi, that's happening here is I have an opportunity to create more leaders through this. Right, so I think it goes back to the topic of multiple intelligences. You and I talked about some time ago, and I realized that in this forum, people bring in different interests. So I realized this is one more facet to the whole, community aspect, and so that's how I thought, let's start a journal which will give an opportunity and expose the writing talent of our community members. We can also invite thought leaders from the industry to contribute to the journal, and this will also help build brand of this community. And the journal today reaches out to close to all the 25,000 plus members, and to thousands of other L&D and HR leaders in the industry across the globe. So it is building brand, is creating intellectual capital, because every journal is based on a particular theme, and when 15 thought leaders are contributing their ideas on a particular theme, what becomes is a body of knowledge. And then this journal is today going to universities, is going to B schools. Universities are distributing these e-copies of the journals to their students and HR, faculty, and then other departments. So it's really making a lot of impact. I become more humble, and I've just realized there is just so much to learn. And I have developed gratitude to God that He has given me an opportunity to be with wonderful people wonderful people in this space, in the HR and L&D community, wonderful people like you, and then getting to learn all the time. When I started as a L&D leader, but today I believe I'm a student in the journey of life. So that's probably is the transformation.
Surya, I'd like to thank you very much for being part of Leadership in Real Life.
Thank you so much, Ravi. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.